Hi everyone and welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. On the show today, we're gonna make my chicken corn chowder with bacon. This soup is great for a cold winter's day because it warms you right up. So join me as we make my chicken corn chowder with bacon. Okay, so this recipe has a little bit of prep because there's some vegetables that we've done. We've already done that in advance, but we are going to cut up the bacon. So what I have here is about 12 ounces of thick sliced bacon, and we're pretty much going to cut this into little bacon bits. It kind of helps to have this in the refrigerator or in the freezer for a minute, just so it firms up. It's a little easier to cut. This is just a hickory smoked bacon. If you want to make this a vegan version, or if you don't eat bacon, just go ahead and leave it out. You could probably get some kind of vegan something to make up for the bacon, because the bacon does provide a little bit of flavoring up at the front end and all the ends, right? So we're going to go ahead and cut this up and then we'll get cooking. So our bacon is all cut up and we're actually going to be cooking this in the Ninja. And basically the Ninja is just like an electric cooking appliance, right? That you can do a couple things in it. You can actually cook like it's a stovetop, and you can slow cook in it. So it's really versatile. You definitely do not need one of these to cook this. You can just do it on the stovetop in a Dutch oven or in a stock pot. So we're gonna go ahead. We have our Ninja heated up to the medium stovetop setting. And we're just going to go ahead and crisp this bacon up. We want to cook it until it's nice and crisp. Otherwise, it's going to sit in our soup and be a little soft. We really want it to be crisp. So we're going to go ahead and crisp up this bacon, and we're going to remove it and drain it. So the bacon is crisped up nicely, and we're going to go ahead and get it out of here. You want it pretty crispy, otherwise it's going to be flabby in there, right? We're going to go ahead and drain this on a paper towel. It smells really, really good in here. The Ninja takes a little while. When you heat it up, once you get your cold food product in here, it takes a little while to recover. So on the stove, your bacon will cook up a little faster than it did for me, but that's okay. Get all your bacon out so none of it burns. And now it's time to cook up our aromatics. So now we're going to put our aromatics in. I did a lot of prep in advance. Just to make this faster. So we have some chopped onion, some leek, some carrot, some celery, some bell pepper, and some garlic. And we're going to put these in order by when they cook, because you don't want to put stuff that cooks fast in first, right? So I have basically one medium onion, and we're going to go ahead and put this in. And we're going to cook this up, just let it soften a little bit. So we've cooked the onion off and taken a little bit of the raw edge off. One of the things about onion is you drop it in and then you put your carrots and celery all in at once. For some reason the onions just don't cook right. So I just cook them a little bit to take the little edge off them. I'm also going to put in a leek, and this is one leek. I chopped up a whole bunch because I'm cooking some other stuff today. So we just have a leek in here. Depending how big, if you have a small leek, put 2. If you have a big leek, put 1, right? And leeks require you to really wash them out. So when you cut them, take them over to the sink and separate all the layers and make sure you get all the dirt out of them because they can be really sandy. So we're just gonna let this soften up a little bit. It smells so good. Now we're gonna put in our carrot, and I basically have 4 carrots here. My carrots were really big. So if you have some medium carrots, that would be good. Mine were really big carrots. And what I did is I chopped them into just about this size. So they're basically, I chopped them into coins and then chopped them into quarter size. And we're just gonna let this cook off for a few minutes to soften those carrots up a little bit. Okay, we're gonna put in 4 stalks of celery. And we're gonna put in a large bell pepper. Now I had some small ones, so I'm using 2 small ones, but you wanna use red bell pepper in this because it gives it a little bit of color. And we're gonna go ahead and let this finish cooking down. And we have 4 cloves of garlic that I've chopped up, and we're just gonna go ahead and put this in here and cook it for a minute or so. Again, you don't wanna put your garlic in at the beginning, otherwise it will burn and it'll just be bitter. So I have 5 pounds of butter potatoes, and pretty much butter potatoes are yellow in color, right? They look like butter. And I've chunked it, and I just have it in some water so they don't discolor. So we're gonna go ahead and put the potatoes in. And one of the things is, once we get the stock in here, we are going to let these cook until they're basically forkable. And then we're gonna take part of this out, and we are gonna blend it separately with the immersion blender. And that's gonna help thicken the soup. Okay, so I have 8 cups, or basically 9 cups of homemade stock. And Erica made this in the pressure cooker. Certainly just use chicken stock. This happens to be turkey stock, just because that's what we made. So we're gonna go ahead and put this in here. This is really full. This is gonna thicken down. Once we start cooking it down, we're gonna put a slurry in here to thicken it up. And we're gonna be blending some of these potatoes. So we're gonna cook these until they're fork tender, about 15 minutes, and then we will get our immersion blender. So the potatoes are a little forkable. You don't want them too done, otherwise it'll just, you know, all of them will break down. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put like half of these into this bowl. We also need some broth in here. So let me do this. I think that's about half. And then we're gonna get some broth. So we're gonna blend this, and you can put this into a regular blender if you don't have an immersion blender. These things are great. This came from my Breville all-in-one. If you want to see about this, I have a video where I did an unboxing, so I'll put a link down in the description. It's really easy because it just clicks on like that, and it has like a little trigger. So we're gonna go ahead and blend this. One of the things is, if you put this in a regular blender, make sure you take that plastic cap off or take the lid off, because I've had it, when you blend something that's hot, it basically explodes. And one time I was making a mulligatawny soup. I turned that blender on, and let me tell you, the soup ended up on the ceiling. So make sure you're careful with that. So we're just gonna go ahead and blend this up. We're gonna chop all these potatoes up. Okay, so that's pretty much all chopped up there. I'm gonna take the end off here. And this is gonna make the soup nice and thick. We're also gonna be putting a thickener in it as well, but this will help with that. So we're gonna go ahead and put this back into our soup, and it's a really nice color from the red peppers and from the carrot. Woo! Wow, it's nice and hot. And we're gonna go ahead and stir that up. Looks really good. And now we are going to add a few other things. Okay, so if you used regular chicken broth, commercially prepared, you might not have to salt it very much because it tends to be really salty. We used homemade stock, so we're gonna have to put quite a bit of salt in this. I put a little bit in there, but I don't wanna put too much at this point because it's gonna cook down a little bit and it will concentrate it. So we're basically gonna salt to taste near the end. But if you use regular commercially based chicken broth, then you probably won't have to salt it at all. So the first thing we're gonna do is I made a little slurry, and basically I took a heaping tablespoon of cornstarch with a little bit of water, like 1/3 of a cup of water, and we're gonna go ahead and put that in. That's gonna serve as a thickener. We're also going to put in 1 can of coconut milk, and this is unsweetened coconut milk. It's organic. If one reason I use coconut milk is I am allergic to milk. If you aren't, you can just use some cream, and that would be really good, right? But because of my milk allergy, we're going with coconut milk, and it will taste really good, right? So we're gonna go ahead and stir this in. It's looking delicious. And that is really already thickening it up and making it look like corn chowder. Looks really good. So now we have a 12-ounce bag of frozen corn. We're gonna go ahead and put that in there. So we have our corn in there and we have some thickeners. Now we're gonna put our chicken. So what I have is I have a cooked chicken. You can either use a rotisserie chicken or you can cook a chicken. We actually cook this chicken beer can style on the barbecue. And you can pull it, you can chop it. I sort of have this a combination of pulled and chopped. I don't want huge chunks in here. So any chunks, I'm just gonna break up a little bit. This is a whole chicken. You can put as much as you want or don't put any chicken at all, right? Of course, then it would just be corn chowder. It wouldn't be chicken corn chowder. And a rotisserie chicken would work really great. One of the things I always had a question on, and I haven't got an answer to, and we asked the person at our local club store this yesterday, because I'm trying to figure out, when you go to your local club store, and you guys know what stores I'm talking about, they always cook, you know, fresh cooked rotisserie chicken, and they're pretty large, and they're really, really good. And I've always had a question about why rotisserie chickens at your club store are less expensive than when you buy a raw one. When you buy a raw one, we can buy a double pack of raw chickens at our club store. It's like $12 and you get 2 of them. But when you buy a rotisserie chicken, it's like $4.98. So I'm still trying to figure out why rotisserie chickens are cheaper than the raw ones. I haven't got an answer, and I didn't get an answer from the person at the store yesterday. He just sort of looked at me like, like maybe he never thought about the issue, but anyway. So now let's put in the bacon. Okay, so we're gonna add back in the bacon we cooked earlier, and wow, this looks really good. This makes soup for a crowd. One of the things I do is I cook this and then I take it for my lunch at work, and it is so absolutely delicious. It's going to reduce down. It's going to get a little bit thicker. It blows away any chicken corn chowder you buy in the can, right? Eric used to buy it in the can at our grocery store, and this is 1,000 times better. So we're going to let this cook down, probably about 30 minutes, maybe 45, depending on how far you want it cooked down. And then we will take a taste. So our chicken corn chowder looks beautiful. I adjusted it for seasoning depending on what broth you used. I used a stock that didn't have any seasoning in it. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna serve this up. Hopefully I won't spill it too much. Wow, this is my favorite lion's head bowl. I love this bowl. This would make a great soup for taking to lunch, even for a fancy dinner, right? It's very comforting soup. Oh, it's getting heavy. Wow, it looks delicious. So let's take a taste. I'm ready to take a taste. So we got the potato, we got a little chicken. Oh, it looks really good. It's hot. This is good. Wow. The potatoes, the ones we pureed, really made it nice and thick. The corn is really sweet. When you're seasoning it, just make sure you watch the salt, because as it reduces, you can definitely oversalt it, particularly if you use commercial chicken broth. I'm going to tell you, I've always had trouble making soup. My soup usually doesn't turn out that great. This right here is a winner. Especially for me, because I'm allergic to dairy. The coconut milk, you know, sort of adds a little to it without me having to put cream in it. But you could certainly put cream. It would be more creamy than this. Wow. It's really, really good. Try it. I think you'll like it. If you like this video, please leave a comment and a like and subscribe to my channel, because I have a lot of great videos on the way. Visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter and Pinterest at Amy Learns to Cook.